Hello, scholars. I'm going to work through proofreading colons, commas, and semicolons synesthesia. Maybe I'm going to work through this if it actually loads. Okay, I'm just going to read through this exercise and I'm listening for the pauses. And if there's a pause and the punctuation looks right, I'm keeping it. If the pause doesn't look strong enough, I'm going to swap it out for something a little stronger. Have you ever tasted a color or smelled a sound? If so, you might have synesthesia. People with synesthesia experience the five senses in a different way. When one of their senses is activated, another sense is activated at the same time. Okay, this comma is looking good to me because I've got a little dependent clause there, just a little introductory bit, and a comma makes sense there. It's not like a full sentence being hooked on. Again, just a little introductory thing. Scientists are still not completely sure how synesthesia develops. However, they know it happens because of crosstalk in the brain. Okay, this is looking good to me too. I've got basically two sentences joined here. I've got the however, one of those conjunctive adverbs, so it makes sense to use a semicolon because semicolons can join two sentences. And in this case, there's clearly a relationship between those sentences because you've got a word right here that shows the relationship. So semicolon, comma, combo looks good. When someone tastes a food or hears a sound, the regions in their brain are responsible for these. Sorry, let me try that again. When someone tastes a food or hears a sound, the regions in their brain responsible for these senses are activated. But when someone with synesthesia tastes the sound, both the taste and sound areas of the brain light up. Okay, so the question is with a semicolon, do I have basically two sentences, or if we want to be technical, two independent clauses? And in this case, I don't. I've got a full independent clause on this side, but on this front side right here, I just have a little dependent clause. So for a little dependent clause at the beginning, I just want a comma. And a good test for a semicolon is just trying to replace it with a period. And I wouldn't want to put a period here. If I did, I'd end up with a fragment. So that tells me that a semicolon is too strong. I need a comma. This condition can take on many forms. For example, some synesthetes can see colors when they hear certain sounds. Okay, and I've got another conjunctive adverb, for example. And in this case, it looks like it's joining two independent clauses. So I'm going to swap this out here for a semicolon. And that'll give me the semicolon comma combo that I like when I've got a conjunctive adverb between two sentences or two independent clauses. Others might associate certain tastes with physical sensations. One of the most common forms of synesthesia is called grapheme color synesthesia. People with this condition associate letters and numbers with specific colors. Okay, between these two sentences, I've got a comma, and I'm not liking that. A comma is a very weak punctuation mark, and I don't want to put it between two sentences. If I do, that's called a comma splice. It's like trying to splice together two wires with Scotch tape. The Scotch tape just isn't strong enough. So I'm going to bump this up a level. In this case, I'm just going to bump it up to a semicolon. Some people will even assign genders and personalities to these letters and numbers. While people with grapheme color synesthesia do not always associate the same colors with the same letters and numbers, there are often commonalities. Okay, so I've got a comma here. I'm looking and saying, what do I have on either side of it? Well, on this side of it, it looks like I've got a dependent clause. I've got the little while, the subordinated conjunction. So just a little introductory bit here. I think a comma makes sense. For instance, many people associate the letter A with the color red. Okay, well, I definitely don't want a semicolon here. It's way too strong. For instance, it's just a little introductory thing, right? It's just that little introductory conjunctive adverb. So a comma is going to make a lot more sense. Chromesthesia, another form of synesthesia, causes people to associate sounds with colors. Okay, well, take a look. We have what should be paired commas here, right? Chromesthesia, another form of synesthesia. That's just a little a positive there, right? Something that's explaining what chromesthesia is. So I need to pair this comma with another comma, another comma down here, and that should work fine. People with this form of synesthesia rarely agree on what color sound is. In fact, the famous composers Franz Liszt and Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov often disagreed on what color different musical keys were. Many creative people have synesthesia. The writer Vladimir Nabokov, the painter Vincent van Gogh, and even the musician Brendan Urie. Okay, we have a lead into a list here. Many creative people have synesthesia, and I could mentally add the words, and here they are. So that tells me that instead of a comma, what I want leading in here is going to be a colon. And then I've just got a straight down the line list. The writer Vladimir Nabokov, comma, the painter Vincent van Gogh, comma, and even the musician Brendan Urie. While we're still figuring out how synesthesia works, the more we learn about this condition, the more we can discover about the mystery of the human brain. All right, super interesting topic here. And those are the changes I wanted to make. Okay. And it looks like we got them all, so I'm not going to review.